Hello and welcome to Bloom Art. I'm Shanaz, and with it being so close to the festive Christmas season, I thought we would make a Christmas candle. I'm going to draw it, but if drawing is something that you really don't like, I'll leave a link on my Etsy page where you can actually purchase the outline, and there's a few other Christmas outlines as well, Christmas tree, baubles, and some other decorations as well, snowman and reindeers as well, things like that. So, but what I will say is though, give this a go, follow me along if you can, and just give it a go. That's all I want you to do, is just try it, have a go at creating this Christmas candle yourself. Take your time, there's no rush. Take it nice and slowly, pause it if you need to, that's absolutely fine. So I'm just drawing the berries. Okay, it looks like 2 eyes and a nose. I'm going to do 5 berries and then we'll add the holly on in a second. So the way I draw holly is, in my head normally I count the pointy bits, 1, 2, 3. So I'll show you what I mean on the next one. Let me just decide where I'm going to put one. Okay, I'm going to go here. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can make them as big as you like, as small as you like. As long as you've got the pointy bits on the leaves, the prickly bits on the leaves, then you'll get it to look like a holly. I honestly think just have a go, just try and do it. I've drawn this in pen as well, in a Micron pen, size 03, just so that you can see, and it's waterproof as well, so you just have to wait a couple of seconds for it to dry and then it won't smudge. But you can do it in pencil if that's what you've got. Just going to add one more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, looking good. Let me just make these bits a bit darker. I've done this in real time as well. There's just one bit a bit later on where you just have to wait for it to dry a little bit, but it is in real time and you'll be able to follow along. I'm using my silver black velvet brush. This one is a size 12. It's quite a large brush, but it's got the pointy bits at the end so you can get into all the nooks and crannies. You don't have to use this particular brush. Any round brush will do, as long as you've got that pointy bit at the end. So I'm just watering the candle. That sounds really weird. I'm just adding water to the paper. I'll list all the items in the description box. The first colour I'm using is actually called shell pink. I've been wanting this colour for a little while because I don't have it in the Shinhan range. And I've not actually used this before, so I'm just trying it out. I've kept it quite light. I've kept the paint quite light and watery. And I've got another pink from the Holbein range. But the majority of the paints are from Shinhan PWC. And the paper it's actually the back of a paper that I didn't want to waste the paper, so I've just used the back of the paper. It's from the Baohong range, Mid-grain. I'm just going to spray the paints here just to keep them activated. Just doing the flame. and that one is lemon yellow. I'm really bad at knowing the colours of the actual paints. If you are a beginner, maybe you might not be as good either. That will come with time, I think. So don't worry too much about what colours you're using. The important thing is to keep the first layer watery and light. You don't want the page to be, you don't want loads and loads of water either. I have done another video on water control and some other techniques. Again, I'll leave that in the description box if that is something you want to try. And I'm working quite quickly because I want the colours to blend. You'll see what I mean when it dries towards the end, or at the end when it's all dried a bit more. Don't worry too much about putting in details. What we're doing is putting in the shadows so that when you do add some more details to it, it will look a little bit more of a realistic candle. So here I'm just adding shadows where the candle wax has melted. So if you can just visualise where the light is coming from. And I'm sorry I've got shadows, I've just realised I've got shadows on my page. So I need to work on that. I'm just blending this bit so there's a little bit of colour, but not too much colour in one place. So again, with the holly, I'm just going to add some water to the holly. I think I'll work on one at a time and just add some colour. I promise you it will all work. Just don't put too much sort of bold colours on there yet. And then just at the edges, I'm just going to put a touch of green, slightly darker green. But I want to keep some of the white and the light areas. I hope you're enjoying this. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you are. And I do plan to do some more videos, some more techniques, all beginner friendly, step-by-step tutorials. But let me know in the comments what you think. Is it a beginner, do you feel it's a beginner friendly tutorial for you? Or do you feel like I'm missing things out that you need to know, and I can focus on that a bit more for you? I've been painting for a few years now, and I am going to do videos about art supplies, sort of paper, brushes, paints, just to give you an idea of what you do need, and also what you don't need. We all get into that habit of just buying things for the sake of buying it, thinking we need it all. But if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend all your money on painting, on materials, I'll help you decide what's best, what might be best for you. But if you haven't got a budget and you've got loads of money, then go and get what you want. That's absolutely fine. But you might still need to learn exactly how to use them, because I didn't have a clue. So I'm just touching up these, and I'm just going to do the same with the leaves, with all the other leaves. I'm not going to speed it up, I'm just going to keep it in real time, but feel free to speed it up if you'd like, or slow it down if you need to slow it down as well. YouTube settings are absolutely brilliant for you to be able to do that. So sometimes I do dab some of the excess water or the excess paint. So just make sure you've got an old cloth, an old small towel, or kitchen tissue paper, things like that. Kitchen paper, not tissue paper. Kitchen paper, or a bit of tissue to one side. Again, keep it light. I'm using a smaller brush. I don't know if I mentioned it. I've got a size 8 silver black velvet brush. So I'm just adding a bit more. It's not quite dry, it's slightly damp. I'm just adding a touch of yellow to the berries, just to give it a little bit of a highlight. And I'm just going to add a bit more of the yellow. You don't have to use the exact colours. Like I say, use whatever colour you have. I'm just going to add a bit more to the main part of the candle, just to give it a touch more colour. And as you can see, I'm keeping the colour to one side of the candle. So I want to keep this light because obviously the berries are going to be a slightly darker red. So I'm just keeping the candle quite light, like a light red, sort of a pinkish red. And then I'm going to leave this to dry. I'd probably say if you haven't made it too wet, 10 to 15 minutes should be absolutely fine. Go and get a drink or come back in an hour if you've got an errand to run. Come back a bit later and just add the final details to it. It does need to be dry, otherwise the colours will blend with each other. So it does really need to be dry. I don't like using a hairdryer or one of those heat things that you can buy separately. I just leave it for a little bit and come back to it, and then you come back with a fresh pair of eyes as well. So I'm just adding where the shadows will go, just making their colours a bit more intense. So it's just underneath where the candle wax would be, if you imagine where that would be. Again, you can use a reference photo as well. If you look for candles on the internet online, just pop it into Google. And I'm just brushing it out with a little bit of water. Oh, excuse me, just to blend it, in a bit more. So there's no harsh lines, but you can see where the light is, and I've just kept that on one side. This bled here, where I didn't leave it to dry, and this is where the colours touched. You can see the red has gone onto the green a little bit, onto the green leaf. It's fine, it actually still works. But if you don't want that to happen, just make sure the colours are dry and you don't touch one part of the colour to another part of the colour. I hope that makes sense. You can make these onto your Christmas card if you wanted to pop this design onto a small Christmas card, or you can use the idea onto Christmas tags. On Etsy, on my shop, what I've done is I've actually made the candles a bit smaller for you. If you do want to put them onto tags, you can absolutely do that, or just draw them a bit smaller, obviously. But yeah, you've got the option to do that. So this is where the colours bled a little bit onto that leaf. I've gone to a different leaf now. and just add in a little bit of detail just to the edges, just to give it a little bit of a bit more oomph, as they say. I'm just making that bit darker so that it blends in a bit more. Right, I'm going to do the berries now. I'm going to make it quite intense so that it stands out from the candle. And make sure you leave the little bit where the highlight is, where the shiny, just to show the shininess. I've kept the majority of the colour quite bold. And then rinse your brush, and then I'm just going to blend it out a little bit in places. I'm just going to finish off that last one. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care.